Hey there, welcome to Mark in the Park, the podcast. I'm your host, Mark Milow, speaker, storyteller, and healthcare advocate. And this is the place for personal reflections, stories about mindset, hobbies, and purpose. And a reminder that life doesn't stop at a diagnosis. In fact, often the real journey begins after. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Today's episode includes some reminiscing and some storytelling of some old friends in a very relaxed manner. Because of that, a little bit more profanity is heard than normal. So just want to give you a heads up on that, and please excuse that. Got some old friends that are just kind of going down memory lane. I normally try and watch the content as far as how the words that are used, a little bit more than normal this time. So I ask you to bear with me on that because these are some great stories from some guys that I love and that have supported me along the way. Thanks, guys, so much. Hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mark in the Park podcast. Today, we've got something a little different. When I started this podcast, I told you this would be a Parkinson's podcast unlike any other, and this is what I'm talking about. Today, we're going to talk about friendship, and we're going to talk about how essential it is for people to come along for the ride, so to speak. And first and foremost, I just want to get a disclaimer out there. I a little bit of a head cold, so please forgive me for the way I sound. I should probably ask for forgiveness every week on that, so it doesn't really matter. But forgive me for the way I sound. But I have with me a group of people here. These folks are family to me, and when you get a chronic illness diagnosis or a serious diagnosis, you don't know how people are going to respond or react. And some people that you think will be around aren't. And then other people that you don't know are going to be there are going to be there. And you have a lot of questions in your mind on like who's going to respond, how they're going to respond. Well, on the call today, I have with me three friends that I grew up with and the daughter of one of those friends, Maddie. So we have Joe. Joe, you want to raise your hand? There you go. And his brother Lee. Okay. And Joe's daughter, Maddie. And then we have Ray. And what can we say about Ray? Ray's
return. That's why.
Yeah, Ray's. Oh, now when I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, there were some people that, frankly, I thought were going to stick by me that didn't. But this group of individuals here, we have a weekly Zoom call, talk about old times, and we rehash memories and have a good time doing that kind of stuff. But along the way, they've asked questions. They've showed support. They've supported fundraisers. They've put the word out there on events that were going on, and they've taken the time to learn about Parkinson's to make me feel comfortable and allow me to vent and talk about this condition that I've got. And that is something that is worth its weight in gold. We don't get that from everybody. And it's really nice when friends come along for the ride. And that's what these folks are. They're family members and they're friends, and they've come along for the ride. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to talk and allow them to talk about Parkinson's or even about memories of us growing up together. And so this is kind of a unique little bit of a twist on the show. And hopefully some people will learn something about Parkinson's, or maybe learn something about Mark you didn't want to know, or about growing up in San Diego in the 1970s. So, there you go. So with that, thank you guys all very much. And I say guys in the generic sense, Maddie, of course, but I thank you all very much for your support and for coming along for the ride, for guys, your encouragement, for your words of wisdom, for your financial support, for everything you guys have done in supporting me and also allowing me to talk about my condition at times when I needed to, and asking questions that showed me that you were interested in the condition that I've got. So I really appreciate that. And with that, I just want to open up the floor. This is a conversation. This is like us sitting around the fire hydrant by the lamppost up at the corner, just talking until the wee hours of the morning.
In the back of the yellow truck.
Or the back of the yellow truck, exactly.
Ignoring Nana flipping the lights on and off to come in.
Yes. So Nana, Joe, why don't you just tell us who Nana is, actually?
Nana was my mom's mom, so my maternal grandmother that lived with us when we were growing up. And she just couldn't go to bed until all of her little chicks were in the nest. It just drove her nuts that we were outside, even though she could see us.
Yeah.
We weren't in the house. She couldn't go to bed and relax, so she'd be flipping the lights on and off and get us to. That's a sign to come in.
Yes, we were part of that generation that stayed outside like all day and all night until till we were called inside. So yeah,
And even
kind
then,
of a fun way to do it.
didn't come in.
Yeah.
Who was Nana's favorite, Ray?
Well, I was, wasn't I? I'm pretty sure that there was a time that I might have been.
Yes,
And
when
Nana was very strict with me for some particular reason.
Nana called Ray that little shit Ray, and she chased him with a broom.
That I remember. I remember chasing him with a broom. That's
Constantly.
There's still people out there think his last name is Ray and his first name is that little shit.
Yeah, Nana did start that.
Oh Nana. Oh Nana. So with that, there you go. Do you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to say right off the bat or to kind of kick this off?
I have a question.
Yes.
I want to know what you would want from your friends after being diagnosed with Parkinson's. Should they ask questions? And if the answer is yes, what would those questions be?
That is such an astounding question, Lee. That and I'm serious. That is an amazing question because most people, when they're diagnosed with Parkinson's, want to talk about it because it's a traumatic experience, but not everybody does. And so, to your point, you asked the question, do you mind if I ask you questions, or do you mind if I talk about it, or whatever? Now, as you guys know, I'm pretty much an open book, and I started blah 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 right away. But not everybody's like that. So, Lee, that is a great take on that to say, ask the question, and if they want to talk about it, let them talk about it. And that's a very sensitive way to approach it, and I really really appreciate that and respect it. What I needed most, first and foremost, was frankly to just talk about it, especially for like the first 3 months. I needed to process what was going on and understand that wasn't just Michael J. Fox. No, I've got it, but I didn't know who else had it, right? And so it was kind of a moment of where that's what I needed most. Some people they just need they needed to continue to be their friend. If you play Dungeons and Dragons with them on Tuesday night, continue to play Dungeons and Dragons, or if whatever the case may be, treat them like they're the same person. They just have a condition now. So that's a very very an excellent question, Lee. Thank you.
You know what always surprised me, Mark, was the first time you told us about it, about you having Parkinson's. It was the story I remember was how you kind of figured out that might be what your problem was when you said somebody else noticed you walking across the yard or in the warehouse or something, and your arms weren't swinging.
Yeah.
And you said, and somebody mentioned, hey, Mark, why aren't your arms swinging? And that clued you in, or not clued you in, but it clued your doctor or something like that. Was that how the story went? That was what really caught me. I was like, holy crap, how did he not know his arms weren't swinging?
Right. And to that point, that's a condition called bradykinesia. And at the conference I was just at last week in Las Vegas, we were talking about that. Because your brain is sending a signal for your arm to swing, your brain thinks the arm is swinging. So until you see it not swinging, you don't know that it's not swinging because your brain is going, oh, of course it's swinging. I'm telling it to swing, but it's not. So most of us don't find that out until somebody tells us that. And it's a shock because what do you mean? But that is the one condition that they need to diagnose Parkinson's. They look for tremors, they look for rigidity, but they will not diagnose somebody without bradykinesia, which is it's actually a term for slowness of movement, and that is essential for a Parkinson's diagnosis. They will diagnose somebody without a tremor. They will diagnose somebody without rigidity, but they will not diagnose somebody if they don't see bradykinesia. That's the one essential thing for a diagnosis.
Yeah,
So,
I just thought that was wild. That's how they kind of figured it out, and that I had no idea.
Yeah,
That's what got me. I was like, holy cow, how can you not know that?
Yeah, and it's a shocking thing to have somebody else notice something about you that you don't even know. Like what? Yeah, exactly. That's a great point.
I was kind of surprised to learn that there's not a test to diagnose it, that it's based off of symptom observation. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, Parkinson's diagnosis is what we call a clinical diagnosis. So it's based on the doctor's observation of the patient when they're in front of them, and the story that the patient brings, the evidence, and the things they talk about. Um, there is no firm diagnosis tool. Really, it's about the doctor's observations and then the body's response to levodopa. That's really how they find it now. Is if you they do all the tests and they come up with we see bradykinesia evident, we see rigidity or tremor evident, but they also respond to levodopa. That's usually your telltale sign that yes, they have Parkinson's, and that's not a great way to do it. So they're pushing hard with the latest breakthroughs to try and find at least a diagnostic tool. But right, and by the way, there's great breakthroughs with skin. I don't want to say grafts, but samples. They take skin samples and they can read
Oh,
the dopamine levels in the skin samples, and
Wow.
that's a great determination of. It's a confirmation, but it's not a diagnosis point. So
one of the things that they'll use for a diagnosis.
yes, to confirm a diagnosis. Another one is called a DAT scan, DAT, and that measures the dopamine levels in the brain and the dopamine activity. And so if it's diminished, that's evidence of a what they call a Parkinsonism, which there's multiple Parkinsonisms, but they can't say it's Parkinson's because it could be one of the other Parkinsonisms. But a DAT scan, so DAT scan doesn't diagnose it, but it does help to confirm a diagnosis, just similar to the skin tests.
Do they have to have like an earlier baseline to see if there's been a drop, or do they just measure it and it's supposed to be certain levels for, average humans? Or
Yeah, I think they base it off of the average dopamine levels of where somebody would normally be at. So I don't think it has to be a two-part test. I think they can do it in just one test. I asked my doctor, should I get a DAT scan? He said, well, you can, but it would be extra money and extra time. And frankly, I don't think you need it. He said, from what I'm seeing, you have the stereotypical garden variety idiopathic Parkinson's. So I was like, okay.
and we could have confirmed you're a dope long ago. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I think that all question went out the window a
or
long
is that
time ago.
is that something different?
right.
Yeah, but
We figured that out 50 years ago.
yeah, my dopiness is a whole different story. So yeah, that was confirmed, I think, at birth. I was a breech baby, so I guess that that started it. So
Was that the first time you were dropped on your head?
certainly wasn't the last. So and these guys can attest to this. I had stitches 7 times growing up, 5 times in my head. So yeah,
I'm sure at least half of those were their fault.
yeah. Well,
We will deny any wrongdoing.
I know.
And no wedgies.
well, and a broken tooth too, right?
Not
Keep it
stitches.
fine to me.
Not stitches.
I
You
have
guys
no
have admitted-
recollection of this incident.
You have admitted to the broken tooth on here several times before.
Yes.
You can deny, but it's not going to work because of the fact that I'm also
I think it
here.
had something to do with roller derby.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like that movie with James Caan. What was that? Rollerball. We were playing like
Yep.
rollerball, and in a carport. So there's no walls to the carport. There's just a roof over it, held up by 4. What's that?
There's 2 walls. There was like the house,
Yeah.
and the house, and then a pole.
It's like
and then
that.
the driveway
Yeah.
going down.
But it's open up,
Pepper tree.
And the
and
pepper.
and it's held up by 4x4 posts, which my face conveniently ran into.
You found one of them.
It was only this big, Mark, and you had to fucking hit it with your face.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna do it right. Come on. So yeah, face first into a 4x4 post and broke my tooth off.
I don't know. A hip check might have been involved in there. I don't know.
So one of y'all pushed him.
Mark, that leads me into my second question was that if I wanted to confirm, you did say maybe a year or two ago that repeated blows in the head area can increase your is that right? Likelihood of getting Parkinson's or
Trauma to the head can be a source of Parkinson's. So when I was diagnosed, they did a CAT scan and an MRI to rule other stuff out. But they also looked at the scarring on my brain, and the doctor said I had a lot of old scarring on my brain. Did you ever have injuries to your head?
there you
You
go.
can
No.
an extra page to add on to the little form for that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mark's medical records got like lots of pull-out pages.
yeah, exactly. So when I recounted all the things that happened to my head, he's like, "Okay, yeah, okay, that could be why you have it, but we don't know."
Sorry,
So,
Mark.
oh, there was plenty of things.
So we don't really know what causes Parkinson's, or do doctors just not agree?
That is a great question. We know it causes Parkinson's, but it's not consistent. They think about 15 to 20% is genetic. The rest they think is environmental. And there's a big push right now to talk about how Parkinson's is for a large part preventable because of toxins and other stuff that leads to Parkinson's. There's a big ban to push to push to ban paraquat right now, which is banned from a whole bunch of countries, including China. But China actually manufactures it and ships it to the United States. So there you go, right? But
Well, it's not us. It's not when we drink out of the gutter.
maybe
Also, that probably did not help, but I don't think it's the cause.
Oh,
It could be just drinking out of the faucet in San Diego.
Yeah, exactly.
The pipe probably had lead in them in the 70s, so I don't know.
San Diego's
I
tap
remember
produces.
being too involved in play and not being thirsty, and we're like, well, there's water running down the gutter, so I used to just drink out of that, so I didn't have to go all the way back in the house.
oh Lord. I did never do that.
I did.
All doing that either, but
I did.
I know Mark did.
I remember that. Hold on.
The hose, maybe. Plenty of times.
Oh, everybody drank out of the hose back then. But Lee, to your point, they do know that genetics play a part in it for about 15 to 20% of the cases. Environmental factors definitely contribute. I heard the statistics about Camp Lejeune, where the water was contaminated, and how there's like a 70% higher chance that soldiers that served at Camp Lejeune will get Parkinson's.
Wow.
And so yeah, so it could be either or.
You were never there.
It's not the only place on Earth with contaminated water. It's certainly not the only place in America.
It's not.
One of the worst, though. I was there for a year and a half. Camp Lejeune is really bad, or was. It's getting better. I mean, they're fixing it, but I was there for a year and a half doing a job, and they were don't drink out of any of your faucets. I mean, they just don't.
If you get health issues, we're gonna know that's why. But like,
Yeah.
oh
That's why
gosh.
I'm saying it on this podcast, so I'm covered.
There
Right.
you go.
True.
And to that
Like
point,
those class action lawsuits.
yeah, to that point, I had a lot of blows to the head. I had a lot of scarring on the brain. That could be why. But who knows what was in the grass that we played in? You know, I mean, who knows? You know, there could have been other stuff, or other stuff that I've come in contact with since then. I don't know.
combination of factors.
Yep.
Especially because you guys were right by like an army base, weren't you? Or a navy base or something?
Well, I mean, San Diego's a military town, but we were not really that close to.
Oh, I thought you were for some reason. Never mind.
There was naval housing, which when I walked home from high school, I always pretended in my head that naval housing was the Mines of Moria from the Tolkien books. So I had to like sneak my way through the naval housing to stay away from the orcs.
Yeah.
It's a game I played.
Maybe something you came in contact when you were working as a groundskeeper, you know, on a golf course. Don't they use a lot of chemicals and shit, spreading shit out? And I bet you didn't use masks and shit like that.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, to that point, I did a lot of manual labor, and I don't know what I was exposed to over the years with doing that. So yeah, you're right. So what do you guys think about growing up together? What was your favorite part of growing up together?
Aw.
growing up together.
Yeah, the actual for me it was like having three brothers because I only really had four sisters, which was a nightmare. So, I mean, I don't remember a time in my life where I didn't know you three.
Right.
I mean,
Aw.
no, it's just a fact. I mean, I know you three as well as I know any of my sisters. You know, and I have four of them. So,
Maddie, he didn't say he liked any of us. He just said he knows us.
I do say I do like all of you. But yeah, so for me it was an opportunity to have brothers where, you know, I didn't have that.
Right. You know, one of the things I remember most about growing up together, we created a lot of games.
Yes, we did.
Came up with like different games, and those were a lot of fun. A lot of imagination,
I
but
mean,
a lot of fun
the
had.
head injuries notwithstanding.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, some of the games that we created probably weren't good decisions. Tackle.
Well, you told me probably most of them.
There might have been a game we made up on a rainy day indoors that didn't injure anyone. I don't remember it.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
all of the decisions
Maybe.
were bad. But not every one of them was good. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Football in the middle of the street, probably not a good idea. But we did.
Let's give some examples. What kind of games did we come up with?
Well, I remember wiffle ball. We it kind of evolved, but I thought the best version of it, because you couldn't argue balls and strikes, we actually put a card table on a chair at the top of the driveway, and if the ball hit the card table, it was a strike, and if it missed, it was a ball. If you didn't swing at it, so there was no arguing balls and strikes. Pretty clear cut.
Yeah. I remember when we wanted to play more realistic baseball or wiffle ball, we spent the summer building our own field.
That's right. We made a diamond and a tar.
We
So-
might have ruined more than one of the knives in the house.
Yes, Mom's kitchen knives. We took and we went around the block slicing little pieces of tar off of the tar that they pour over the cracks in the street. We'd slice little pieces of it off and then take it back to the diamond and continue the base path and then the circle for the pitcher's mound and stuff.
I remember running with one of the wagons, and I'd go around the block, and people would be, here's the piece, and I'd bring it back, and then like Lee or Joe was there making the plates, and I would just be running back around in a circle, collecting little pieces of tar from everybody and bringing them back and laying them out and going to get more. And eventually we built we had the first baseline too, because that was the whole
line and third base line. Yeah.
Yep.
Those are the first two things, really.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
and home
first,
plate.
second, third
Home
base.
plate was just past her driveway, Mark. I think
Yeah.
Part of our driveway, I think.
you're just ahead of your driveway towards the Dobsons was where third base was.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Yeah.
And first base was more in front of Mark's house.
Right.
Right.
And so once the tar was set down, it melted back into the street and made a permanent
It was there for
permanent baseball field that was there for a long time.
years.
I remember going back 20 years ago, and they had redone over the street. But if you walked, you could see the lump of where the bases were.
That's awesome.
That's
Still.
awesome.
Now I don't know if it's there today.
You
'Cause they
good
probably
work as
stripped
kids,
it.
Maddie.
I remember playing a game called sockball with a bat split in half and a
Yeah.
ball made out of a sock wound up with rubber bands.
That's
That was-
actually the first game that I remember that we created.
That was a lot
And
of
it was
fun. Actually.
hard. It was kind of hard, wasn't it?
It depends on how many rubber bands you put on it.
Yeah.
Or who was throwing it at you? Freaking Lee.
At you.
Do you remember the game Squeeze?
No.
No.
Okay, so Scott Zimmer's house, right?
Yeah.
This is really sad. At Scott Zimmer's house, we had a ball that we would kick, and to get a squeeze, which was also a goal, was to kick the ball into the rose planter, which was the short brick walled little rose planter.
Oh, yeah.
And if you kicked it and it landed in there and it didn't pop back out, it was a squeeze. And
I think I do remember kicking into the house
yeah,
because his mom was never home during the day, so she would complain. Because we couldn't do that at the Bushes because Mr. Bush would be out immediately if we kicked anything against his garage door.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder why.
didn't the Simmers have a hole in the side of their house that was put in there by
They
a baseball?
I think that was Lee's or you.
I think that was Lee.
I think it was Lee too. That was my
I
thing.
thought you couldn't hit it that far.
Because I remember because remember on the corner of the house they had that window that you could climb the fence and go into their garage, and then right on that side was the hole where Lee put a baseball through it.
Yeah.
You tried for the triple. I think the triple is if you hit it in that rose planter.
Yeah. Because it's relatively easy to hit it over the
Right.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So,
Now,
okay.
I remember Mark had a phobia about having his pants pulled down, so he wore a belt really, really tight when he was a little one.
Yeah, and he always had the extra bit hanging out, and he
Yeah,
used to say it was like his
he
Sinbad
cinched
thing.
it up so tight so that the pants couldn't be pulled down. I don't know if it stemmed from that naked going across.
I remember that.
Do you
I remember that. He did always have his belt really, really tight.
I did, but I had a tiny waist at that time too. So,
That's true.
I remember going swimming. I remember going knocking on the door and asking Mr. and Mrs. Dobson if we could go swimming.
yeah.
And then only like one or two of us would go up there and knock, and they go, "Oh, okay, come on up. Okay, we'll go get our swim." And we'd run around the corner house, and they said yes, and all the kids would run in and change, and then we would all pile into and they never turned us down.
Yeah, the Dobsons were really nice people. They were salt of the earth kind of people. I mean,
You guys exploited it.
we did.
Yeah, we were kids, Maddie.
When we get Brenda or Annette, usually the two girls would hang out with us. We'd get Brenda and Annette, go ask real nice Annette. And they'd go up there and go, "Hi, Mrs. Dobson. Is it okay if we go swimming?" And they'd come around, and then all the boys, we'd all just, "Get your shit, get your hose." Yeah,
Probably already had the suits on because we knew what the answer was going to be.
yeah. Because I think they probably turned us down a couple times because they were going out or something like that.
Right, right.
I don't remember much getting disappointed by the Dobsons.
They were so kind. They really were. Okay, so I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
Who is Tom Tour?
He was the fall guy.
I have shared this
I don't
story
remember.
with so many people that they would laugh like that is diabolical. I'm like, it worked.
So tell it
It
again,
worked.
Mark.
Well, it was awesome. So, Maddie, have you heard this? Tom Tour?
No.
So
Because it kept me in the dark.
We made him up, and we
Oh, maybe you have told me this, but I can't remember. So tell it again.
blamed him for stuff when we got caught. No, that was Tom Tour that did that.
So Tom Tour was our fall guy. Preset fall guy, pre-made excuses.
Yeah.
Verbiage was agreed upon ahead of time.
Now,
Got
there
us-
also was the Tour family that lived around the corner.
Rhea,
That's true.
I remember, right?
Yeah,
They
Rita.
lived like on
over by the Valandres.
yeah, okay. Yeah, it was
House down at
but we didn't know the house number.
No.
no.
Did we ever like have pizza delivered to that house?
No,
Did
we
they
didn't have
deliver
that.
pizza in those days?
I seem to recall like we ordered like 19 pizzas and had it delivered there.
Joe and Lee were the only ones with a phone, if I remember correctly. Remember they had to throw it out their window and had it in the backyard.
You guys were older by that point, so you should have been knowing better than to act like that.
Well, Ray, to be fair, Mark was about 12, probably. I was 17.
I was saying you
I want to point out,
were age.
Mark
I
was
was
young,
my dad's.
younger than me.
yes,
I forget about that.
And then Ray, then Lee, then me. I'm the oldest.
Aaron's my dad's age to me.
another fond memory of growing up was the KGB light show.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't just a KGB light show. It was you guys putting your stereo speakers on the roof of your house and blaring it out. And Yeah, the
On the
synchronized.
carport. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was amazing. I love that.
You guys conveniently didn't tell me about that one either.
So the KGB Sky Show it's a fireworks show, and then they did it to music that was broadcast over the radio station KGB FM. So you turn your radio on and watch the fireworks, and the fireworks
1015.
up to
Yeah.
music. 1015, right?
101.5 KGBF.
And of course, we could see the fireworks from our
From the
house,
roof, yeah.
especially on the carport.
Yeah. Or in my backyard.
Yeah.
But I don't think your dad let it play the music as loud as we played.
No, not as loud as we wanted it. No, because it's not opera, so
Right.
or symphony.
So, did any of you guys go to the Rolling Stones concert at the stadium?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I remember hearing that concert from the house. That was amazing. Oh, another thing. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, when the Chargers would score a touchdown, the cannon would go off. And we'd be outside playing football in the street. You'd hear the cannon go off. We'd run inside to see the highlight. And then come back out and keep playing. I love that. That's good times, man.
Yeah. It was a good thing they didn't light a cannon off every time they gave up a score because it would have been boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, those games were like final score was like 42 to 37, something. It's like every single time.
And the Chargers scored 37 points. They gave away 52, but they scored 37.
So yeah, the Stones concert was in 1981, and Kevin and I had decided to go to Europe, and we're going, well, where should we go? When should we go? And we both of us said, well, we can't go till after the Stones concert. So we scheduled the Stones concert. Well, then my little sister wanted to go to the concert, and we didn't want to take her. She was 16 at the time. I was 20, right? Lee was 19. We're not take our little sister to the concert.
You guys were so mean.
So my mom took her to the concert at the stadium, and we freaking run into him in the middle of the crowd.
Oh, man.
How unlucky can you get?
I think that's just bad. That's just your karma for not taking her yourself.
You never hide from your mom, Joe. They got like mom dollars. They can find you.
Sister, not her mom. Yeah, we went to him in a crowd of 75,000 people.
Well, guys, we're kind of running out of time here because we keep the episodes at about 40 minutes or so. Get to the chopper! Is there anything we want to wrap up the podcast with today? Anything about Parkinson's, about growing up together? Any final thoughts that you guys want to have?
It was great reminiscing about it, but I learned a lot about Parkinson's from you, Mark, and I really appreciate it. Maddie and I particularly have a couple people that were affected by Parkinson's, and they didn't talk about it to the extent that you do. And we didn't learn as much from them about it as we learned from you at all. And so it really kind of helped us, I think, helped us get closer to them and really to know what to do, what to say, how to behave, and, things like that.
I just support them. I second all of that. I'm emphasizing all of that.
Emphasizing it. There you go. Well, again, I can't thank you guys enough for being friends, not just growing up, but friends in my present day. Sometimes I get abused for the stupid things I did as a kid, but that's okay. That's part of the friendship. But I really appreciate the fact.
Actually, Mark.
What's that?
It hasn't changed.
I was going to say the same thing. Nothing's changed.
Not at all.
It was an honor growing up with you, Mark, and thank you for being my brother.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And again, it's so important to have people behind you when you have a diagnosis like this. And you guys have been a big support for me through the years, and I really, really appreciate that. So I want to thank you guys very much for that. And thank the listeners. If you guys have put up with us until now, you're still listening. Hey, you You're hardcore. We really appreciate it.
Holy shit.
Well, wait, welcome you to come back for next week and to see what we pull out of our hats. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much. And I always like to end the episode with a reminder to keep exploring because life is a journey. It's not just a destination. Life is a journey and enjoy it along the way. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Mark in the Park, the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and leave a review. Your support helps more people discover the show. For show notes, updates, and future episodes, or to connect, head over to markinthepark21.com. Got a guest idea or a topic suggestion? Drop me a line at markintheparkpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And to all my listeners, this is Mark Milow reminding you, life is as much about the journey as the destination. So enjoy the sights and sounds along the way. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep exploring.